I have to follow through this time. I'm not gonna drop the ball this time. I can't tell you how many things in my life I've started and I did it for a week. I did it for 3 weeks. I did it for a month, maybe even 2 months, and then it just fizzled out. I made the decision I'm going to record the process of building our next cabin on our land from the very beginning all the way through. Nope, I'm not a professional builder. Yes, I've sort of built one cabin with a friend, and he did a lot of the GCing on the job. So it is still a bit of a mystery to a degree. And yes, I did go to the Shelter Institute and spent 2 weeks learning how to build a house from scratch. 2 weeks is just scratching the surface. I'm hoping to scratch lots of surface. No, I don't want to scratch a surface, but I hope to learn to build a house completely from the ground up. And I look forward to recording the process as I learn how to do every single thing. I plan on slinging the hammer and laying the floors and doing some framing. And yes, I'm supposed to start with why, aren't I? So why? Why am I filming this? It's definitely a lot more complicated. I've watched so many people building on their own land, and it was super inspiring, and it's definitely led me to want to do a lot more out there and learn and grow and build. I also want a record. I want a record of the people who are involved. I want to be able to look back and see what it took to get to where we are. And it's amazing how much you forget when you haven't recorded it. And I want to be able to show my kids, like, years down the road. It's also because I haven't followed through with my different creative endeavors through the years in a lot of ways. I want some accountability. Like, if I have to make a video, or if people start asking me, like, why don't you have a video out? Not that anybody will, but maybe they will. I don't know if that's a good reason. I don't know if any of those are good reasons, but that's what I'm doing. So here we go. All right, so I feel like today is a fairly big day. I'm going out to Laurel Valley property to meet with Alex, our GC, and to meet with Roy, our grader. So he's gonna be grading where the house will sit. And he also is gonna be taking a look at the road to see if any road work needs to get done in order for trucks to be able to get up the road to deliver supplies, or contractors to get up the road to be able to contract. Here we are on this beautiful rainy day. We've got some mud. The groundwork has been done here for the seat of the house. So this is the driveway that will lead up to the cabin. Do this now. This is where parking will go, and then this will be kind of the back of the cabin right about here, I think. And then it will be on some stilts about 3 feet off the ground, and then go out over the edge. And behind you, you're gonna have all the big boulders, and I'm hoping to do like a nice fire pit. Yeah, there's this kind of central area of these rocks that could be really cool. I don't like to take out trees if I don't have to. We had to take out a few in order to make sure that the place wasn't gonna get trees falling on it, and also just in the way of the footprint of it. But I also do like a view, and man, some of these trees are in the way of the view, so yeah, it's complicated. I don't know how to make those decisions. Meeting with Alex over here today to talk over next steps, which will be probably putting in the pillars, the footings for foundation, which is exciting. I'm leaving Laurel Valley. It is really wet out there, so it is super muddy. The issue is we need a little bit more. I tested it out with the truck, backing in, turning around, and it's just a little bit too tight to try to get two vehicles into the space with no problem. So I feel better asking him to come back over, pulling a little bit more dirt out of the back side of the house, pushing it over to the front side of the house, and that will make the driveway bigger. So yeah, I think it looks great. I'm excited about finally getting some traction, literal traction on the ground out there. I could be framing in a week and a half or so. Now, I've learned my lesson not to hold anybody to a date, because I mean, it's raining today, all day probably tomorrow, all day the next day, and that just throws a lot of stuff off. It's also the building time of the year. Everybody's coming out of winter, We need to get an engineer out there and figure out the electrical. It's a long distance from the current electrical pole on the land all the way up to this cabin. I'm afraid of what we're gonna be spending on the electric. I sure hope it's not 30,000, but it might be 30,000. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, we need to get a surveyor out there. Surveyor's gonna come out and let us know where to put the posts. So that we'll use sonotubes, which are the big tubes they pour concrete into. Those will be the foundation that will be used for the posts to go all around. The grading work is being completed as we speak. Here's a bunch of boulders and rocks that kind of came out of the flattening of the seat. That's going to kind of act as a little bit of a foundation for the slope here. Talking about angling it differently, so instead of it being angled this direction, it might be angled this direction, which will allow for, we can push it out a little bit further because we have a lower, it's less steep going that way. And it also allows us to be able to adjust this area back here behind the cabin so we can push it further out and have a little bit more gravel parking lot area. So yeah, it's coming together. Feel pretty good about it. We'll see where we end up this week. Thanks.